So it looks like Major League Soccer is looking to change their playoff format once again. And this would be the fourth different iteration of the MLS Cup playoffs since 2016. Now, this one is the biggest change that I've seen, and it's very complicated. And I honestly think it would be very, very bad for the league, for competition, and honestly, and most importantly, the MLS regular season. So we'll talk about what the proposed changes are. We'll talk about what it will do for the league. And then I'm going to give you my proposal, what I would like to see happen to the MLS playoff format. Hey, real quick, make sure you guys hit that like button down below if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel if you are new. The 2026 MLS season part 2 has officially started. We got the transfer window, we got the MLS Cup playoffs at the end of the year, and everything in between you guys are not going to want to miss. So please make sure you guys are subscribed and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. So starting off with this report, and it came earlier today from The Guardian. This was from Pablo Maurer. It said, new, MLS is planning another potential overhaul to its playoff system, one that could involve as many as 20 teams, feature a double elimination component, along with the mess of other changes. Nothing finalized yet. And I kind of want to read you guys some of the proposed changes, okay? So here's some of the key elements of the proposed change of the MLS Cup playoffs. So it's nothing's finalized, by the way, but the league has said it's still reviewing options as part of the broader competition changes. But multiple reports based on the league and club sources outline a format that could involve up to 20 teams, double elimination, inspired by the Australian Football League final system. So as far as the qualifications, at the end of the regular season, all the teams would be ranked in one overall league table. Now that is kind of cool. I can't say that I don't dislike that. That is pretty cool, but that's like the only thing I do like about it. The 5 divisions would mainly affect the scheduling and not playoff seeding. The top 20 teams would advance. The top 20 spots would not be split evenly by division. Pure overall standings would decide who qualifies. Then there's the play-in round to reach 16 teams. 8 of the 20 teams, the lower seeds, would play in a play-in round. Excuse me. 8 of the 20 teams, the lower seeds, would play a play-in round. The 4 winners would join the 12 higher seeds teams that receive buys, creating a 16-team field. Now, this is where the double elimination happens in the group of 8, or the top 8. The top 8 teams would enter a double elimination or double chance round. A win in that opening round would send the team straight through to the quarterfinals. A loss would not eliminate them immediately. They would drop into the second chance path instead. This is designed to reward strong regular season performance by giving the best teams a safety net against an early upset. The structure draws from the AFL's long-used double chance final system. Reseeding in later rounds. Teams would be reseeded after each round. Higher seeds would keep competitive and hosting advantages throughout the playoffs. The tournament would proceed through quarterfinals, semifinals, and MLS Cup. And the timing, the playoffs would start in April or late April, early May, roughly 3 weeks, and MLS Cup would be targeted for a late May date, which makes sense, right? That's the ideal date for the MLS Final Cup. And here's some more important caveats. This remains a proposal under discussion. MLS has publicly stated no determinations have been made, and it continues to evaluate adjustments as part of the calendar competition review for the 2027-2028 season onward. Other formats have been also considered by owners. Okay. So real quick, too, I want to read you guys some of the former playoff formats in Major League Soccer because I think this is important. This is kind of like more of where I'm at, and we'll talk about that here in a second. And I'll show you the full graphic of what the bracket will kind of look like. It's kind of sends your mind in a spiral. Like you're like, oh my God, this is hard to even follow. You know, like it definitely might give you a headache. So from 2016 to 2018, the top 6 teams from each conference made the playoffs, 12 total, single game knockout rounds in the first round. The 3 seed would play the 6 seed, and the 4 seed would play the 5 seed, and the top 2 seeds in both conferences would get a bye, followed by a reseeded 2-leg and home and away aggregate conference semifinals and finals. That's the way it was from 2016 to 2018. Then in 2019, Major League Soccer had the top 7 teams per conference make the playoffs, 14 total, fully single elimination bracket. Top team in each conference got a first round bye, fixed brackets, no reseeding, which was kind of cool because it gave the best team in the conference more of an advantage for their good season rather than the top 2. It kind of discounts the top seed in the conferences if you give it to the 2 seed also. So that's something to keep in mind with. Then they did something temporary for COVID. They did an adjusted tournament for that, but that was just temporary. Then 2021, 2022, they reverted to the 2019 format, top 7 teams per 7 conference, single elimination with bye. Then in 2023, they did another overhaul that was absolutely horrible that I could not stand. And essentially what they did is they added 2 more teams to the playoffs with a play-in game. The 8th and 9th seed would play each other for a chance to see who would play the first seed in the playoffs. And then they did this absolutely nonsensical format where they have a best of 3 with the first round. So you have to win 2 of the 3 matches to advance. If you win the 2 matches, then you're good. But there could be a possible third match. It's not like this in any other soccer league around the world. It doesn't even matter if it's a tournament style format. No other team does this or other league does this in the entire world. So we have 3 matches in the first round, followed by single elimination. So it's just a complete 180. Like you go from a best of 3 to single eliminations immediately. It just feels like a huge, shift that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then it's single elimination, and then there's a fixed bracket, no reseeding. So this is a pretty dramatic change once again, and I'm going to bring up the bracket so you can kind of see how it lays out. I mean, this is just absolutely insanity. So, I mean, this just shows the play-in teams that would play, and then it shows who they would play next, the 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then just these fixed brackets, who they would play next. I mean, it's just kind of, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not interesting, especially if you talk about some of the teams that automatically get advanced and the reseeding of it, but it's just very complicated for people to follow. And I think that that's going to be an issue. And that has always been an issue with MLS teams is just or MLS as a league is overcomplicating the rules or overcomplicating formats, all this stuff, right? And you have to keep this in mind too. Most leagues around the world do not have a playoff. They have the top of the league, right? The table wins the league. That's the champion of the league. Major League Soccer doesn't do that because obviously the American culture, we like playoffs, and that's what they do. So we have a playoff format that determines the champion of Major League Soccer. Now, the Supporter Shield is a thing for who has the most points in the regular season, which also does give them some type of reward with being a top seed, and you get a Champions League qualification spot for being the top of the league in that. But this is the true champion of the league. And it's just another thing, like I said, of overcomplicating things and not making it and not simplifying it. And I just wonder, who is this appealing to? Like, who are they doing this for? Like, why are they saying, you know what? Let's do 20 teams. Okay. So let's start off with this, right? One of my biggest issues, and it's one of my biggest issues right now with Major League Soccer, is there's too many damn teams that qualify for the playoffs. It waters it down. Right now, there's 30 teams in Major League Soccer. 18 teams qualify. Now, some people say the play-in tournament doesn't really actually count as the playoffs. I count it as the playoffs. I think it is a playoff spot. So you have 18 of 30 teams making the playoffs, which is 60% of the league making the playoffs. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous in Major League Soccer because that just devalues the regular season. That shows that you don't have to really do anything, or you don't have to, not that you have to do anything, but that your regular season isn't as important and that you can kind of just, scoot on by and, not really take it too serious and you can get your way into the playoffs. Honestly, MLS teams that don't make the playoffs is pretty embarrassing, especially with as many teams as qualify. But it's already bad with 9 teams in each conference. 20, 10 each means that 66% of the league would be making the playoffs. That is just absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And I want to share this too. This is the current bracket. And this is MLS's argument. They say, well, listen, we like to do this because we want to make teams feel like they have a chance down the stretch to make the playoffs. We want to keep fans engaged. But I feel like that's honestly bad because why should a team that has been mediocre all season long have a chance to make the playoffs? That just means that they weren't good the entire season or they were bad for most of the season and they're getting rewarded for being bad. I don't like that. I want teams to be held accountable. I want teams to be punished if they weren't good for the majority of the season. And they should just fight for the last playoff spot, which would be the 7th seed, which I'll talk about here in a minute about what I would do personally to change the MLS Cup playoff format. But there's, the Philadelphia Union. I'm not picking on the Union. I'm not picking on Montreal. I'm not trying to pick on them, right? But they as bad as they've been this year, they have no business being in the playoffs. These teams have played 20 games. They have 5 wins. Hey everyone, quick word from our sponsor, FanDuel. If you're into soccer like I am, you already know how exciting La Liga, the Premier League, and MLS matches can get. With FanDuel, you can make it even more fun by placing bets on your favorite teams and matches across all 3 leagues. Whether it's a Premier League showdown, a La Liga thriller, or an MLS game with your local club, FanDuel makes it easy and exciting to bet on what you watch. Just remember, you have to be 21 years or older to play. Please bet responsibly and only if you're of legal age and in a state where it's allowed. Download the FanDuel app or head over to fanduel.com, sign up, and get in on the action. Thanks for supporting the channel through FanDuel. In 20 games, they have no business being in the playoffs. They don't, yet they're 4 points out. 4 points out of the playoffs. Toronto FC have 4 wins this year. They have no business being in the playoffs. They have a -7 goal differential. They are not a playoff quality team. And MLS thinks that this is going to get fans more engaged. It's just watering your product down. Nobody wants to see Toronto play in the 9th seed as they currently are. Not all time, but the way they currently are and how bad they have been or inconsistent. Nobody wants to watch that. They want to see the best teams in Major League Soccer battle it out for the championship in the playoffs. They don't want to see a watered down version with the 9th seed having to play a best of 3 with Nashville. So that's a current problem with it right now. But if you add 10 teams, it's even worse. You're seeing 10 teams. You're giving people too many lifelines for a mediocre season. That's not what people want to see. That's not what people want to see. Also, too, number 2, right? There's going to be too many games. Like a tournament is supposed to feel like a lot is on the line. Okay? It's supposed to feel like you made it to this next point, and now you have to not be perfect, but actually you do have to be perfect because you can't lose, right? So it's like the intensity is at all-time high. If you have all these teams and all these different games, it's going to water it down where you just don't even want to watch as many games. I mean, how many games is that? I mean, that's going to add probably more games than there already is. And the reason why they want to do it is because they want to add more revenue with ticket sales. It's not going to increase viewership. They just want to have more ticket sales for home games for the home teams, maybe merchandise, all this kind of different stuff. But I just think that this waters down in it. And you kind of see this with Leagues Cup. And I'm not directly comparing MLS playoffs to Leagues Cup, but Leagues Cup people have lost interest because it's just kind of watered down and people aren't going to games and they just don't have interest. And you don't want to do this to the MLS Cup playoffs. This is your bread and butter. This is the most important time of your season. This is your Super Bowl of the league. You want it to feel like it is very important and not everyone, hey, Columbus, you get a chance to go to the playoffs. I know you're bad this whole year. You fired your coach and you've been playing good down the stretch, but you're in 100%. You get a chance to win MLS Cup playoffs. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. That would be like in the Premier League or any other league around the world. The bottom 3 teams in relegation zone, they obviously they get relegated, and then the teams below, there's a play-in spot. I want to say that it's like teams 3 through 6, I think, compete for the final spot. Imagine if it was 3 through 10 that got to compete for that spot. How would that be fair for the 10th team in the championship season to compete with the 3rd team who had been way better all season long to get that spot for the final promotion spot for the Premier League? That makes 0 sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. So I just think it waters down the competition and the interest, in my opinion. So, and also too, if it drags out too long, it's only going to be 3 weeks, but if it drags out too long, people might also lose interest because there's just so much going on. And if you want to know what I would do personally, and listen, I'm more than willing to hear people out. If you think this is good or you think that it's an improvement, I'm willing to listen to you guys. Just comment down below and let me know why you guys think that. And I'll try to read your comment and respond if I can. I'm always down to hear the opposing view. But if I had it my way, if I had it actually my way to do the MLS Cup playoffs, right, I would probably do it to where you have the top 7 teams still. I'm cool with 7 teams. I would ideally like to be better, or less, but I'm cool with top 7 teams. I didn't have a problem with the previous format. Top 7 teams from each conference make it to the playoffs, okay? But it's not like you don't get It's not conference, or you don't have it seeded by conference. You have it seeded by just who had the most points of the 14 teams, right? And then the top two teams in the entire tournament get a bye, right? And then the teams 3 through 12 play each other. And then after the first round, which is single elimination, I think the first round can be single elimination. After the first round and it goes to the quarterfinals, right? Then you would do a reseed, and that would be two legs. After that, I think you should do two legs for the quarterfinals. And then you do two legs for the semifinals. And then MLS Cup final is one game, single elimination, not two legs. It doesn't need to be two legs. But this helps out too because it gives you more games. If you do it this way, you would have a home and away game for two separate rounds where you only have that right now for one round in the current format. So I feel like you're subsidizing, you're adding more revenue for games for people to attend and pay for tickets. That's fine. I'm cool with the two leg format, but just keep it soccer. Keep it what it is internationally for tournaments. Do two legs. Don't do this BS with three, and don't do this single double elimination stuff. Don't do that. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't try to overcomplicate this thing, right? So I would have it to where you do the 3 through 12, play each other, 1 and 2 get a bye. It reseeds after that. In the quarterfinals, you just reseed it, two leg format, and then two legs, like I said, for the semifinals, and then two legs for the finals, and then bam, you got a great playoff format right there for you. I think that's perfect. Perfect. And several games. And I think you could probably do that you could probably do that in like 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And I think people would be really dialed in and engaged. I think that would be awesome for the league. And I just think that it would make it simple, right? You're not overcomplicating where it's like, wait, hold on, I have to play who, and if I lose to them, I have to go where, and then all this different. Well, he lost, but he's not eliminated because he's got to lose twice. It's just cut and dry, two legs on aggregate, and you can. And I know people will say, oh, but Will, you can't do that because then the higher seeded team is going to be at a disadvantage because they're going to have to play their first game at home and then they're going to play on the road. Well, let them pick. Let the higher seed team pick where they want to play first. That's fine. Let them play away first if you want. I don't care. That's not a big deal to me. I mean, if you really think that that's a disadvantage to play at home first, then let the team with the higher seed pick what they want to do first. If they want to play away first, or if they want to play at home first. But the playoff format, and this is another thing I want to hammer home that I think is very important. MLS has got to pick a simple playoff format, and they have to just stick with it. They cannot keep changing the playoff format every couple years. They need something to be set in stone that people can understand, that they can fall in love with, and that can be a traditional and they can build history with. If you keep changing it every other year, then it just feels like it doesn't matter and that you can't figure out what you want to do. Just pick a format, roll with it, and go with it. It doesn't need to be this complicated. I don't understand why they keep changing the playoff format every couple years. The one before this one was not broken. It was perfectly fine. And they decided to be greedy and ruin it and do something in soccer that other leagues around the world don't do. I can't stand the round of three. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. I think that it's a mockery to soccer, in my opinion. No other league in the world does this, right? So I think that they need to fix what's broken and just keep it. Just roll with it. If you're going to do it, stick with it. Stop changing it every couple years. People can't follow this. And it just, no other league around the world constantly changes their playoff format every couple years. Have teams around the world or in the United States changed their playoff format? Yeah, the NFL's added a couple more teams. The NBA has added a play-in tournament. MLB added a couple more spots, but not changing it towards double elimination, all this kind of stuff. They do it in the play-in tournament in the NBA, but that's it. They don't do that anywhere else. Just stick with your formula so people can grow with the format, and it can be traditional, and you can build history with it. That's all I'm saying. Just pick it and stick with it. That way we're used and accustomed every year to the playoffs of what it is. And please keep it simple. Don't do this. Please do not do this. Like, no one wants this. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants to see the 20th team in MLS qualifying for the playoffs. Nobody wants that 19th, the 18th, 17th. No one wants that 16th, 15th. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody does. Nobody does. Should the 20th team in the Premier League have a chance of winning that's being almost relegated, have a chance to win the Premier League? No. Nobody wants to see that. That waters the product down. We don't want to, it's a waste of time. We wanted people or teams to be rewarded for their consistency, and giving them a 1 seed is not enough for their consistency through the season. Their reward should be that they qualify for the playoffs and bad teams do not. So that's my take. I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this. Hopefully, this does not happen and there's enough public outrage that stops it from happening, but we will see. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give us a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon. And don't forget, MLS Moves was presented by FanDuel.